today's video, I will tell you 8 things that you need to know if you are planning to go to Norway on a student visa. If you have been watching my videos, you probably know that education is free in Norway. However, you may have questions about available courses, financial requirements, part-time jobs, dependent visa, and post-study options. Do not worry, you got my back. In today's video, I will cover all these topics. I will really appreciate if you subscribe this channel before you move into the video. I'm waiting, please do it. Thank you very much. Now let's move to the video. In Norway, there are 9 universities, 8 university colleges, and 5 scientific colleges owned by the state. Norway also has a large number of private higher education institutions receiving public funding. Some of the popular universities in Norway for international students are University of Oslo, University of Bergen, University of Tromsø, Oslo Metropolitan University, and Nord University. Among the private schools, BI Norwegian Business School is one of the most popular education institutions among international students. In these universities, you can apply for all bachelor's, master's, and PhD level courses. However, please be aware that applicants from certain countries may not get visa to study bachelor's in Norway. I have made a separate video on this. Please check the link in the description. One more thing I would like to mention here is PhD in Norway is considered as a skilled work. So if you get into full-time PhD, you will get paid as a full-time worker. And instead of applying for the resident permit to study, you need to apply for resident permit to work in Norway. And this is the reason why it is really hard to get into PhD program in Norway. Talking about the courses, I have seen a lot of international students coming to Norway to study public health, theology, IT subjects, education, and agriculture. However, I have not seen any university in Norway offering courses in hospitality management field. You can find all the available courses in Norway at www.studyinnorway.no. Now let's talk about the tuition fees. I have mentioned many times in my previous video as well that you do not have to pay tuition fees to study in Norway in public university. But I would also like to make you aware of the living expense in Norway. Living expenses are super high in Norway. Although education is free in Norway, you need to manage your living expense by yourself. You must have enough money to live on during the period you are going to study in Norway. For the 2022 session, the required amount is 126,375 NOK per year, and you have to send this amount to your university once you get the admission offer. I have made a separate video including all the financial stuff you need to be aware of. Please check the link in the description below. I have also got a lot of questions about the opportunities of funding for living expense. As education is free in Norway, Norwegian university do not have funding for international students to cover the living expense. It is very rare to get a monthly stipend from the university. However, I have good news for you. If you are planning to get a business degree from Norway, BI Norwegian Business School has a lot of scholarship for international students that cover living expenses as well. Please check their website for it. Talking about admission requirement, the most important requirement to get admission in Norway is that you need to have at least 13 years of education if you are applying for bachelor's course and 16 years of education for master's courses. Regarding English language, generally you need 6.5 in IELTS and a similar score in PT and other English languages test to study masters in Norway. However, some of the universities also ask for 7 in IELTS for some specific program. For bachelor's, you need 6 in IELTS, not less than 5.5 in each band. When it comes to grade requirements, you may find a few universities in Norway asking for at least grade C in Norwegian standard in your undergrad to get admission in master's degree. Other than that, I have not seen many universities specifying that you need to have certain grade in your high school or undergraduate to get admission in universities. However, Norwegian universities give highest priorities to your academic performance during the admission process. So, If you have really poor grade, the chances of getting an admission offer from Norwegian University is very low. You can also check the university's website to find all this information. Now, before moving to the next point, I would like to tell you about the sponsor of this video. Are you overwhelmed by study option? Do not stress, there is an easy way. With StudyMe, the possibilities will find you. StudyMe is a platform that connects students with top universities around the world. It helps you to find the best fit university for you. It is quick, simple, and totally free. Here is how it works. First, you create a profile, add your interests, academics, and career aspiration. Then university get an alert to review your details. Interested universities will get in touch to introduce themselves. If you like what you hear, you can accept their invitation to chat. You will talk directly with the university staff members, getting personal advice on the things that matter to you. Ask them what it is like to study there and the admission process. If the university thinks you are a good fit, then you will get an invitation to apply. You can apply with confidence knowing you are very likely to be accepted. Do not leave it to chance. Join StudyMe and be discovered by the best universities in the world. If you also want to create a profile at StudyMe for free, I will put the link in the description of this video. Now let's talk about the visa requirements. I think Norway has one of the easiest visa process. For some countries like Nepal, Bangladesh, it is very simple that you may not even have to present your academic documents while applying for the resident permit to study in Norway. However, countries like Pakistan, you need to attest your academic documents and attach them to your visa application, so the process might be a bit complicated for you guys. But if you compare with all the financial documents like property evaluation, income source documents, and bank balance required to apply for a student visa in Canada and Australia, Norway has very simple requirements. You do not need these documents. You just have to transfer the required amount as mentioned earlier. That's it. And another thing is your academic grade IELTS score does not play much role in visa decision. Once you have an admission offer from Norwegian University and have transferred the required amount, it is very less likely to get your visa application rejected if you have submitted all the required documents. Another important document you need while applying for visa application is housing contract. This could be a major problem for you. I have seen a lot of students struggling to find student housing in Norway, so I highly recommend you to start looking for student housing as soon as possible. I would say this should be first thing you need to do before preparing any documents for a student permit application. As I mentioned earlier, Norway has different document requirements for different countries, so I highly recommend you to check www.udi.no to know about the country's specific requirement for study permit applications. Norway has an area of 385,207 square kilometer and has 5.379 million population. Norway ranks 205 in terms of population density, so if you are planning to come to Norway to study, you really need to be careful while selecting the city. There are not many densely populated cities in Norway. Less population density means less job opportunities. If you are dependent on a part-time job to survive in Norway, you need to select cities such as Oslo, Bergen, where population density is high and more job opportunities. Otherwise, you will really struggle to survive in Norway. In Norway, students can work 20 hours a week, and the minimum per hour wage as of 2022 is around 175 NOK. During summer vacations, which is June or July, you can work full-time. I have seen a lot of people asking about cash work. I highly discourage you to take any cash jobs. Norway has a very strict policy when it comes to taxation, so be careful and do not take those kind of risks. If you work 20 hours a week, you will be able to cover your monthly expenses if you do not live an extravagant lifestyle. As of most of the office job requires you to speak Norwegian, restaurants, cleaning, newspaper delivery, and food delivery jobs are most common jobs for international students in Norway. These days, I have seen a lot of international students taking food delivery jobs in Norway, as you can decide when you want to work. However, the downside is It is really hard to ride cycles during winter. Although it is hard to get an office job if you do not speak Norwegian. I would recommend you to apply for an office job as well, especially if you are from IT background or have some experience. A lot of Norwegian IT companies do not require Norwegian language. Norway could be a better option if you are planning to take your family members with you when you are going abroad to study. Your family members can also apply for visa along with you. To take your family members with you, you as a main applicant should have income at least 287,278 NOK per year pre-tax. When you are applying for the first time from your home country, out of 287,278 NOK, you need to send the required amount for student, which is 126,375 NOK, to your university and can show the rest as a bank balance in your home country. You can also check your university if you can also transfer the amount for your family immigration to university, which is even better. In both cases, you will get all your money back to your account after you have your Norwegian bank account. Student spouse can work full-time in Norway and can work in any industry they like. They can also join university if they like. Although everything seems bright, there are some downsides as well. For example, the application cost for family immigration when you are applying for the first time is 10,500 NOK. It is really expensive. On the other hand, the student's family immigration permit does not form the basis for permanent residency. After completing your study, you get a job seeking visa for 1 year. To apply for job seeking visa, you have enough money to live on during the period you intend to stay in Norway. You must have at least 22,167 NOK per month. That is 265,998 NOK per year. This must be your own money and must normally be in the Norwegian bank account. If you have a job offer in Norway while you are searching for a relevant skill job, the income from this job can be included in this sum. While being in the job seeking visa, you can work full-time and can work in any industry. However, if you want to get a work permit after job seeking visa, you need to find a job that is relevant to your degree or you need to find a PhD. The job must pay a minimum of 439,900 NOK per year pre-tax if the position requires a master's degree, and 407,900 NOK per year pre-tax if the position requires bachelor's degree. If you manage to get a work permit, you will be eligible to apply for permanent residency after being in work permit for 3 continuous years. However, if you do not manage to get your study relevant job or PhD, you do not have many options left with you. I would say this is the hardest part of the settlement process in Norway. These days, UDI is rejecting visa applications in a high ratio for masters if you have already got master's degree in Norway. Now let's talk about some of the drawbacks of being in Norway as an international student. The first thing you will struggle with is the language. Although most Norwegian can understand and speak English, we will face some issues integrating with Norwegian culture and society if you do not speak Norwegian. On the other hand, the official language is Norwegian, so until and unless you are in technical field, it is really hard to get an office job without speaking Norwegian. Weather is another challenge. Not only will you struggle with the cold, but also you will struggle with darkness. In northern Norway, you will not see sun for 2 to 3 months during winter, and during summer, the sun does not set at all for 2 to 3 months. This really messes up our mind during the first year. It is also recommend to take vitamin D capsules during winter, as our body does not get enough sunlight during winter. One thing you will also miss is having a close friend in Norway. For people like us who are coming from a culture where we not only have a close relationship with friends but their family as well, it will be a bit culture shock to see how the relationship works in Norway. I do not mean to say that Norwegians are not friendly. What I'm saying is that they are a bit introvert, and you may not get that feeling. I hope today's video was helpful for you. If you find it informative, please consider subscribing to my channel. Please watch these 2 videos where I have explained the topics I have discussed today more deeply. I will come up with a new video next week. Till then, take care. Bye bye.